Let's think about a family in Norwich that's having a tough time with a recession right now. We'll call them Rob and Laura. Pick any names you like. He's got kind of an entry-level retail job. She waits tables a couple of days a week, and between the two of them, they make about $24,000 and change. Okay, they got two preschoolers. They're having a tough time, aren't they? Think about that. Family of four in this state with these gas prices and these taxes making $24,000 and some odd $100. But last year, they spent $37,000 in change. They went $13,000 in debt. And it's not the first year they've done it. They've done that for 10 years. They owe $153,000 now. They make $27,000 a year. How are they going to survive? What is going to happen to them? Now, does anybody know where I got these numbers? Anybody, these numbers sound familiar? Add 8 zeros to these numbers, and that's our federal government right now. What are they thinking? And when I say they, I mean the 500 some odd, if you count Congress, if you count the White House staff and everything, 600 some people that are supposed to be managing our money, except an awful lot of them act like it's their money, not ours. What are they thinking? What are they doing? Harry Reid isn't even interested in getting the Senate to pass the budget. So we've woken up, apparently. Like I say, we're the 2,000 people who are supposed to be out here in the grass right now. There are going to be those folks we're going to run into. I work with a couple of them. There are some folks who really think the guy in the White House is doing a good job. Okay? I don't think they're paying attention. There are a lot of people, about 90% of the country, that know that Congress isn't doing a good job. But every 2 years, 80% of the incumbents get reelected. How can Congress have a 9% approval rating and an 80% reelection rate? Where are the 2,000 people out here that are ready to vote for a change? Talk to your neighbors, talk to your friends, your co-workers. You don't have to say mean, nasty things about the people that are in office. All you got to do is remind folks about the record of the people that are in office. Don't say, oh, that guy, oh, what a bum. Okay, what a jerk. He does, because that doesn't help us understand what's going on. Okay? But you can say that we have a representative in Congress who has voted for every tax increase since we sent him to Washington. Why have we sent him back a couple times? Why does the federal government borrow 40 cents out of every dollar it spends, but worse yet, 50 cents out of that dollar they spend goes to some kind of entitlement program or handout program or redistributive program? We can't afford that. And the government is not the right outfit to take care of the poor, the homeless, the sick, the suffering. Private charities, faith-based organizations, people who care, they are the ones in society that can take care of the less fortunate, because the government certainly can't. Or else we wouldn't be this far in debt. Okay, so I kind of have to yield the mic because sometimes I start sounding like an angry old white guy, and I'm not really that old, but I am angry. And it's not all my anger is directed at the government. I have a little bit, maybe more than a little bit of anger, directed at the people who, they know who's winning on Survivor, they know who's winning on The Amazing Race, they know who's singing one on American Idol, but they don't know who Harry Reid is. They don't know who Tim Geithner is, let alone whether or not he pays his taxes. Isn't that an irony? Okay? They don't know who Charlie Rangel is, and whether or not he pays his taxes or understands the tax code. Maybe he passed the tax code without reading it because, well, that's the modus operandi of a bunch of those folks on that side of the aisle in Congress. Okay, we went down to Washington. We went to the Road to Repeal rally for Obamacare. What a hideous bill. And while we were standing, a couple of us were walking back to the car, and a woman walked by. She says, "You people shouldn't be doing this. That law saved my life. I wouldn't be here if we didn't have the health care from that law." I said, "Miss, I'm sorry, but that law's health care provisions don't come into effect until 2014, but the taxes from it are in effect now." She said, "Oh, no, you're wrong." Okay, think that way. Okay, but you're ODing on the Kool-Aid. Okay, talk to your friends, talk to your coworkers. Don't argue with idiots. There's a Glenn Beck book over there. You know, don't try to teach a pig to sing because you'll waste your time and you'll annoy the pig. But for the folks that just haven't woken up yet, tell them about Rob and Laura being $153,000 in debt. Tell them about how this government has set us on a road to bankruptcy, and we need them to do two things. One of them takes about 20 minutes. The other one shouldn't take them more than 6 or 8 hours, and they can do that anytime between now and November. They need to wake up, they need to read a little bit about what's going on, they need to get their news sources from someplace other than MSNBC or CNN or ABC or... Okay, you get the point. Okay? They need to critically examine what it is they're seeing and make a decision and understand where we stand in this country. And then the 20-minute thing they need to do is go out in November and vote for people for Congress that will promise to balance the budget, promise to reform our entitlement programs, promise to get big government off the backs of entrepreneurs so we can jumpstart the economy. Okay? So, just ask your friends to wake up. You know, smell the coffee and quit drinking the Kool-Aid. Okay, thanks everybody. Take care and enjoy the day.
Thank you, Tom. I think you're preaching to the choir here today. What small little choir it is, but I want to thank you all for taking the time to come down. We certainly do appreciate it. We were hoping for a bigger crowd, but it seems to be dwindling over a period of time here. I don't know if it's apathy or people are getting burned out, and I think maybe the time for rallies like this may be coming to an end, but hopefully we can keep this going and make sure that people know there's a presence out there amongst the people, that they're still concerned about what's happening in their government. $15 trillion in debt and estimates to go to $20 trillion in a few years is just unbelievable. We're already at 103+% of GDP to debt, which is just unbelievable. It means we're spending more than we make, even at a national level. So if you confiscated everything that we did in the United States, we'd still owe 3% more on top of that. So you can't make ends meet that way. Next, I'd like to ask Ms. Rita Conrad if she'd like to come up.